3 years ago, we made the leap, swapping the city's hustle for the serene embrace of the countryside. It's been an adventure of rediscovering nature, grounding ourselves, and embracing the hard work that comes with this lifestyle. We've absolutely loved every moment, but there's a few things that we underestimated. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Max.
And I'm Maya.
And we're living
on the countryside here in Sweden. So if you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you know when we upload a new video.
We moved to the countryside without knowing anything. It came kind of spontaneously, and it was a pandemic, and we moved out here without knowing anything. So today, Maya, what are we gonna share?
We're gonna share with you what we wish we knew before we moved out here, because there is a lot of learning, and even if you watch this video, you're still gonna learn.
Yes.
But these are some things that we wish we knew before we moved out here.
We have learned that one major factor to make your life more easy and more comfortable in the countryside is to have good neighbors.
Yes.
This was something that we didn't look for when we went for viewings, but it just turned out that all our neighbors here are amazing.
They can make or break your lifestyle on the countryside. They can disturb your peace or bring you joy. So we lucked out. We have some amazing neighbors, and we help each other when we're gone, watering plants, clearly checking to see if there's any floods happening when the other people are gone.
Yeah, it's so important that you just have that safety, because when you don't live in a big community where you have sort of an ecosystem that is working, you have to do what you can with your own tools, which is reaching out, making sure everything is fine, and that is kind of a currency here on the countryside, to sort of create your own little tiny community.
If you have neighbors.
Yes. We are grateful for the neighbors that we have, because it does give us a little bit more social interactions in our everyday life, even though it's a little bit.
Especially since Max is an extrovert and I'm an introvert.
Surprise, surprise! I was surprised when I realized it, deeply,
really?
that you're an introvert. Yeah, you come across as an extrovert for me.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm living my best life on the countryside. Yes, I enjoy the cities. Low-key wish we were a bit closer to one. But when I'm here, I'm here. I have so much in my head that I need to process and unpack. So I'm okay with the silence on the countryside.
I miss the pulse. I miss the loudness. I miss the people. I miss events. I miss all these things, especially when I travel. You might know, if you've been here before, you know that traveling is my core element, and that's where I really get to thrive, where I get to meet new people, experience new cultures, and all these things I've just mentioned. So that is by far my biggest challenge of being an extrovert on the countryside. But I will say too, the good side about that is that for me, when I am around a lot of people, when I am in the loudness and stuff, I absorb so much that to a point it can get very exhausting. Which why I look at this countryside home as a haven for me to reset. I'm noticing being here that I've been more productive than ever, and I think that's because I found a better balance for me.
So when you are on those maps looking for all those cheap countryside homes, you might want to take into account how close is your nearest neighbor, and what is the distance between you and, like, say, a gas station or a hospital. Which brings us to our next point. How about this ranger stops? If you're in the countryside, chances are you're far from civilization. We are 15 minutes from the grocery store, Saga's daycare, which is where we're going right now, and 40 minutes from the hospital.
Yeah, the closest village has the sort of necessities, like in terms of groceries, very simple groceries. They have a school, they have a daycare, a church. We spend a lot of time in cars, and we have 2 cars, which I recommend, because once the one person leaves, the other person is completely locked up in their house and they can't really move anywhere. You have to have a car to move around on the countryside.
These are things to consider, like distances. You're going to use gas, so we have a hybrid Prius. We can't do like fully electric yet, mainly because it's so cold here. Batteries don't last. And we have lots of distances. Then we have this RAV, which is perfect for like the stony roads, because typically if you're on the countryside, you're going to deal with rough roads. You might want to factor in, are you a family? Are you going to be a family? Where is the closest daycare? Where is the closest like grocery store, hospital if you need that? I had a home birth, not mainly. also thinking, I'm not gonna sit in a car for 40 minutes to like go to a hospital to give birth. Like I'm just chilling in the countryside. So these are all things to consider when you are looking to buy a home that is away from the city.
It's more fun to drive to pick up Saga by myself. Because you bully me.
I know. He's gonna get the girl, the little girl. This girl is a ball of energy. Can I see you? Wow.
Whoa! Way! Whoa!
Wow, wow. Hey! Hey, Soko! I missed you. Wow!
Can you jump in here? Can you do this? Into the car?
Yeah.
So this rain, yo. Let's take a look at this. The river is come up high, yo.
Oh, it has.
Oh shoot, yeah, that is flood warning.
That looks fun over there.
That's okay. It hasn't gone onto the road.
This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. This is a little bonus tip, but because we are living on the countryside, we are obviously very remote, we are digital, we work from home, and we do a lot of things from home in general. We spend a lot of time on our computers, and when we don't spend our time on the computers, we like to travel a lot. So a VPN service is crucial for our lifestyle. If we're home and we like to browse on the internet, if you want to access a site that isn't accessible where you're at, you can change your location to your preferred country in order to access that particular site. This goes for streaming services as well. If there's a show that's not showing in your country, you can change your location and access it there. It's also very important that you always keep yourself safe, that you keep your identity safe. So when you're out traveling, and even if you're on your computer, I encourage you to always have a VPN on, because it does encrypt the information so that you and your identity is safe at all times.
For your chance to get 3 months for free, use the promo code MAXMAYA, and the link is in the info box below. When you buy cheap property on the countryside, you gotta ask yourself some things like, does it have running water? Thankfully, ours does. Does it have a septic tank? Septic tanks are loads of big money. Our home doesn't have one. So we're left with composting. We have a dry compost toilet. And what that means is you just sit on a big old bucket, let it loose, take the bucket out, and get to composting. It's shitty work.
It truly is. You don't want to know what's in this bucket.
That's what I call learning how to handle yo shit. So you gotta be prepared how to compost if you don't have waste management. So we have our composting. Our composting is back there. It takes a year, sometimes 2 years to have everything break down. But once it's broken down, you have fertilizer. If you don't want to handle your ish, you got to get waste management. On the countryside, I highly encourage you to find out who's managing the waste. Do they even do it? How much will it cost? And if not, if you want a septic tank, find out if someone can actually install it, because you'd be surprised how many people are not available to work for you.
You need to be a handywoman or a handyman if you live on the countryside. You get surprised on how many things you have to fix, things that you also want to create. Well, your location is also going to be lack of resources that put you in a position where you have to do it yourself. Now, this was something that actually I was super scared of, because I don't consider myself a handyman. I work hard and I do hands-on work with my body. When it comes to like measuring and all these things, I struggle. Now, I was fortunate to grow up with a father who helped me with pretty much everything, but I just wasn't interested. And I guess that's the downside of having that support, because he, on the other hand, didn't have that from his father, hence why he's so freaking handy, because he helped us till this day. Whenever there's something, he comes here and he teaches us, and both me and Maya like to be working with him as opposed to him doing it for us. So he comes to help us, to guide us, and then we work together and learn. And a workshop is also a must. You need to have your tools and everything organized so that you can access it easily whenever you need it.
I imagine you're going to be good with candy tools if you're on the countryside. And if you're not, you're going to learn to be.
Maya is more handy than I am, and if Maya put me to work, I do the work. Then she is good on the precisions, the creative ideas. So I think we do a good team.
Yeah. I highly encourage you to not wait until you own land to understand how to take care of edible plants, but start where you are. If you have a windowsill, if you have a countertop, if you have a balcony, start planting things that you can eat, like tomatoes, anything, because then when you come out here, it won't be so drastic. Like some of the things that you may or may not consider is pest. Like we have tomatoes, the tomatoes are great. Cucumbers are out here thriving, but we have basil, and I've never had this happen before, but we have pest of caterpillars. We have to address that. Yes, there's remedies and all of that, but it takes time and it's a lot. So we only have this greenhouse, and we have a very small garden bed here. I'm fine learning where I'm at currently, because if I had all this farmland, I think I would be very overwhelmed, but that's just me. This basil has lasted me all summer. You even say me, us. But I discovered some caterpillars and stuff, and they were just like eating, just like going to town. I spray them down with neem oil and like a natural soap spray, but I'll be honest, I just haven't focused on the garden this time around. Sage, they've attacked my sage. Citizenship and country. I know it's very inspiring to like pick up and leave and go to these exotic places, but I highly encourage you to look into the legalities and, like, in your words, the bureaucracy of it all. We came to Sweden because Max is from here, but if I were to go to a place where I have no family and friends, that could be like, you know, that could be very messy. So I can buy a home here. I can own a home here, but that doesn't grant me citizenship or residency here. So you want to look into that when you're buying a home in a country that you don't have any like citizenship in.
I'd say this is one of the most important things when you are buying something abroad. Like, even for me who are from here, I haven't lived here for a while, so facing the migration bureaucracy or the policies that they have here, like, I was completely unaware of how things work. So going into it in depth, now also being you know, pressed for time because we had a home and we really needed to have a place to stay together. It was a lot. So had I done that again, I would have had way more foresight and like come into that situation and like properly.
Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. But the last thing you don't want to do is put in all this money in a home and not be able to go there.
No. We watch YouTubers all the time, like, and they live in Portugal, Italy,
different countries.
Yeah, we've even seen people who buy places.
They can't stay there.
No. Yeah. And that's devastating when you put in money and time and you have dreams and visions and you've been planning, and then all of a sudden there's policies that are in place that doesn't allow you to. So fix that first.
Address that first, because they could be dangling the carrot in front of you, like, come by here, we'll give you money, we'll do X, Y, and Z, and then they can be like, oh, bye, sorry, we know what we said, but you're actually not allowed to live here.
I hope that have given you some sort of insight in your journey. Maybe you're on the go right now and looking for a place on the countryside or whatever, or maybe you live in the countryside, wherever in the world, and you found this helpful. We're also very happy if you can share in the comments below if there's any tips, or wherever you live might look completely different from where we are. We want to keep the community discussing in the comments below. We want to carry on the conversation there. And
make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell so you know when we upload a next video, and we will see you in the next video.
We will.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. Take care.
See you, Snob.